this video shows him speaking candidly or speaking freely. That's the phrase people use, but I don't know how free he was. I mean, Rich Lowry at the National Review had a really great line. He said, Romney sounded like somebody who heard someone else say something at a cocktail party and then mindlessly, half asleep at some fundraiser in May, just repeated it, trying to wind the clock down so we can go to bed.
Welcome to NewsBeast. Got Tony Dokoupil and Allison Yarrow. How are you?
Wow.
Good.
So, Mitt Romney 7.0? I think this new bus tour is maybe the 7th or 8th reinvention. It's more than like Windows at this point.
Yeah, it's been a long, bumpy trip so far, and just one day after the reboot, we get this videotape. Republicans...
Same day as the reboot.
Was it same day?
It was like a giant tire iron. It was like the Tanya Harding presidential.
The reboot.
They hit the curb on the way out of
back.
this, so it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. But if you tune into conservative media, not a big deal at all. In fact, we got this video of Obama back in 1998. So like the counter narrative on if you go to Fox News, or you read, actually Fox News is alone. It's on its own limb on this one, championing Drudge Report is I guess with them.
I think, but Peggy Noonan had this kind of fantastic rallying cry, right? She's saying, and I think a lot of people probably are also saying this too, like forget about the Mitt remake, forget about let's humanize him, let's get to know him. It's actually like let's just like forget about that and ply him with starring, successful Republicans. Let's put him up there with Christie and with Rubio, and like let's let people know that he's part of something bigger, and it's not just about him anymore.
That's right. It's not like he'll actually be president
by himself.
He'll
not
just
by
be
himself.
in a constellation of awesomeness, and he's just the awkward black hole in the middle of it.
Exactly.
So it's become sort of we're going to have a mashup on the site in a little bit. It's become a late night comedy trope, though. I mean, this is an unfortunate timing for all this because he's just getting a beating between Letterman and Jimmy Fallon and Leno and obviously Colbert and Stewart.
And it gives Obama the opportunity to go on Letterman with supreme confidence and cool and spin it to his gain. I think the problem with the remark is it's less the substance of it and the fact that it shows the American people that candidates also treat the American people as pieces on a game board, and that elections are all strategy.
The dirty secret of all
We all talk about that. Everyone talks about that. But anytime the candidate talks about that, it just sort of changes the dynamic. It turns the stomach.
And the other component, I think, is that this is all just playing into the Obama campaign strategy from the get-go. They applied tons of money toward creating this image of Romney out of touch, just completely, and he's playing into their hands.
But remember, though, this is actually an important cautionary tale. If you try to create a wholesale lie about someone and impose it on them, it's not going to work. But if it riffs off something real, it will. And that's the problem. Of all the gaffes, and the great Michael Kinsley line, a gaffe is when someone tells the truth in Washington. There's this direct line from $1,000 bet to the 47% to the average income is $250,000. He is a good man. He is a hugely successful guy. For a good manager, he's run a lousy campaign, but we'll have that question mark over that. But it riffs off something real, and so that becomes a fundamental problem, particularly in this economic environment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the point of a lousy campaign, everyone expected Romney to run a great campaign, right? He's an organizer, he's a business person, he's a strategic thinker. But the Weekly Standard, the National Review, all these publications that are coming out that are supposed to be on his side, and they're like, he's incompetent. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This
should be his to win. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous.
Well, this has been close to incompetent. It's not just Stuart Stevens grabbing a lot of power in the organization, because at the end of the day, tone comes from the top. Romney's got to be responsible.
He's kind of a terrible candidate and a terrible, communicator. I think that's the
He's a bad communicator. A lot of people are saying, oh, this video shows him speaking candidly or speaking freely. That's the phrase people use. But I don't know how free he was. I mean, Rich Lowry at the National Review had a really great line. He said, Romney sounded like somebody who heard someone else say something at a cocktail party and then mindlessly, half asleep at some fundraiser in May, just repeated it, trying to wind the clock down so we can go to bed.
Well, I know, and no, I mean, I think that is it. I mean, part of the 47% that I think Tomasky wrote about this on our pages is that this is actually fairly stable rhetoric within the echo chamber, within the bubble. The problem is our campaigns, because of primaries and fundraisers, get conducted almost entirely in the bubble from the candidate's perspective. So he's repeating something that's fairly uncontroversial in that environment. Surrounded by people, to just get in the door, you have to hand over more than the average family of four makes, which, by the way, is a big problem, people. And yet when it gets seen in the light of day, people are offended because
People
they
want to
shouldn't.
know they're human beings. They don't want to be data points. They don't want to be,
You don't want to be a data point.
I don't. I want to, I have a complicated set of ideals when I walk into the ballot box, and I want to express them.
You're just one demographic stereotype that could be easily reduced to zeros and ones.
So are you.
Yes, I am. Tony, you are too.
You are too.
Final word.
Bartender. Bartender got the video, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Humanize.
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 Giant zebra rug.
Oh my God.
That was awesome. That just happened, and I like that. Giant
Zebra
zebra rug.
rug.
And yeah, God bless bartenders for
all they do, really.
for all they
Yeah.
do. It's all for us for NewsBeast today. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is zebra rug single person flash mob.
So what was that?